To my girls, gays, and days, it's your boy Nate. I read books because reading is sexy, and if you're not reading, you're not sexy. This is the October wrap-up. Let's do this. We got a good stack for y'all today. Let it be known that I am shooting this post going out, coming home at 6 a.m. to do the Disco King trivia live. An hour later, was online for 2 hours, and then zonked out. Zonked out, woke up, did some bits and bobs around town, and I'm here. I'm here to give you the wrap up. So, sorry if the brain's a bit blah, you know? So, let's get into this. I did a total of 13 books for October, which isn't too bad. A majority of this is because I think I'm panic reading, so I'm trying to cram in as many books as I can in a month before the year ends. 2024 is coming to a close, and that's kind of spooky. Okay, well, first book I finished was Susan Sontag's On Women. After much time, this outdated tremendously, although I do enjoy Sontag's essaic voice. I find her voice to be so crystal clear, and how sharp her points are. She has a really strong, opinionated voice. I think it's the kind of voice that we all need to carry within ourselves whenever we're not so much having arguments, but let's say strong conversations. And the choice of words and the way things flow, I think, is really brilliant in the way Sontag carries essay to essay about the feminist movement during the 70s and 80s. And then she changes her opinions slightly, and it's interesting to see how she changes or refines her opinions throughout this collection of essays. I actually found the latter essays to be the most interesting because they weren't about what the book is about. I didn't find most of this to be that interesting, given that we're in 2024, so to have this come out at a time where we're in a better place, still awful, of course, but in a better place for women, that all of it seems a bit too foundational. But she has some really interesting quotes about how to live a life, suffering and pleasure, and how we look at tenses, how much of our living exists in the present tense or the future tense, or how much we carry the past within us. And I found that to be more intriguing than her thoughts on feminism. They come off as a bit prudish, although I don't think Sontag was a prude at all, given her lavish love life. But really interesting. Definitely not a great place to start, I think, with Sontag's voice, but I'm so glad to have finally done my first Sontag, and to many more. On Women, Susan Sontag. Where should I put these? I'm just gonna leave them here, off to the side. Okay, the next 4 books I'm just gonna talk about all together because I did the Southern Reach series now, because the 4th book came out October 22nd, I believe, by MCD. Thank you to them for sending me an e-arc. So, first book is Annihilation, which was a reread for me. I really enjoy the abstract, fungal, organic world that Vandermeer created. It's intensely aware and spacious and scary and thrilling, and you really have no frame of reference of what anything looks like. Everything is brand new. You've entered a world that is uninhabited and is so foreign to you that you are so cautious, yet so curious about everything around you. And it wasn't until the film that came out, and though the film is fine, I enjoyed it for the most part. I just loved the way that it gave visuals to what I couldn't understand or comprehend in the book. Authority is the 2nd book in the series. I felt like this was a big fluff episode. Gives more exposition to what the Southern Reach world is. Yeah, it veers off a bit, but you do get some answers, but you actually get more questions. And it's quite long, so it's quite a bit of a slog to get through. The next book is Acceptance, which was also just fine. And this is where I realized that I was reading the books wrong. You don't read for the answers, because what you're actually supposed to be reading for is the expansion of the world, and how the more you try to look for answers, the more questions arise. And with that, you know nothing. What is it about, what is the paradox of knowledge? The more you know, the less you know. And that's what this world is. The more you know, the less you do know. And again, it becomes this almost big exposition piece. What you think is supposed to be moving forward is actually moving backwards, and you just get more background story and background information on specific characters and the world itself. Lastly is Absolution, the fourth book in the series, and this was incredible. For Southern Reach fans, I think you'll absolutely love this. Definitely don't start with this one. It is a prequel to the entire series, but works more as a fourth book. Here, you get everything. You get answers, which is amazing. You get sort of the formations of Area X and how it came about, and some of the animals as well, and it's just, again, such a rich world that Vandermeer has created, and it continually becomes organic and fungal and spacious, and it's a good one. Definitely still has the same feel as the other Southern Reach books, given that, you know, there was like a huge 10 year, is it 10 years? It still feels heavily involved and part of the world. It doesn't feel any different, and is my favorite of the Southern Reach books, although Annihilation comes in close because it was my first, and it's an incredible world to be in. If you like cosmic horror, ecological terror, and this is coming from someone who doesn't read sci-fi, I think it's just a really cool world to be a part of if you want to start out sci-fi. But yeah, I enjoyed these series a lot. They were amazing. Next up, I got an e-arc of 3 Days in June by Ann Tyler. This is out by Knopf, February 11th, 2025. Don't ask me why I decided to read this. I misread a NetGalley email and I thought I only had a week to read it. But this tells the story of a family surrounding a wedding, and drama ensues. Of course drama ensues. Weddings, always so dramatic. The happiest day, quote unquote, of your life. Full of drama. More notes of this will show up in a vlog. I think it's my Daegu vlog. Look out for it. But I've never really enjoyed Ann Tyler. I just find her stories to be a bit trite and mundane in the way that I find more interesting in, say, Ann Patchett. But this one worked for me, given that it was in 200 and so pages. It's short, it's concise, it has the same whirlwind of being enraptured by family conversation, people talking over each other, people not answering your question and saying something else, and reveals so much more about who the person is, and also about how we love each other and all the little lies we tell each other, all the white lies, and also the hard truths, the truths that we're not afraid to relay to each other because it's family. Spellbinding, I think if you enjoy Ann Tyler's works, you will really enjoy this one. She's at her best here, and so few pages. She really nails the reality of people and the reality of family here in this book. Wait, watch out for it, February of next year. Okay, sorry, I have all of these out of order, so let me just quickly kind of rearrange these. If you give me a moment, will ya? Okay, what are we doing here? Okay, there we go. Sorry, folks. Sorry about that. Okay, next up, Nobel Prize winner of this year, Han Gang, We Did Human Acts. Oh my god. With this alone, you can totally tell why she won the Nobel Prize of Literature, but this is just so haunting, so beautifully written, and really it's a big ask and a big examination of the inherent intertwined nature of body and soul. Do they coexist? Can they exist without the other? How much of life is lived for the body versus for the soul? And here we have a young boy, Dongho, lost to the Gwangju uprising, and the many voices and people involved with his life, looking back and remembering Dongho and asking the questions of the violence, of the loss, of the torture, that of such a terrorized act against democracy. And it's troubling, really, to know that this happened. Han Gang just has this beautiful gauze over her writing. I find this with all of her work, where it always feels impenetrable. You're never able to penetrate the text because she creates this negative space between the reader and the text where you're not entirely there and you really want to reach out and grab what's there, but you can't ever do that. And with this, no exception, her writing is exquisite. The way she goes about the questions of body and soul are just really beautiful, touching. You can definitely tell this came from the heart. One of my top reads of the year. And it's just such a joy to be in Korea while she has won the Nobel Prize for Literature. And Korea is just in so much joy and wonder, and people are in the bookstores. And I've been to Kyobo, I think 3 or 4 times in the past month. It's amazing how many people are there and they're reading Hanggang. So it's a joy to finally have done this, and can't wait to get to more Hanggang. I still need to do the vegetarian, and I also have an e-arc of We Do Not Part, which comes out sometime next year, I think in January. So excited to do that. But yes, incredible. If you haven't done Hanggang yet, please do her. This should be your first. It's amazing. Check it out. Next up, I did a tiny. We did Star by Yukio Mishima. This is Mishima's in his short and sweetest form, where you have his usual musings on love, death, and unaliving yourself. And I love all that. I love all that, done in such a tiny book. But this is all surrounding a movie star. And I think I've mentioned it before, gonna say it here, gonna say it again, that Mishima, closeted homo, y'all. Like, the way he is so misogynistic about the objectification of women, but the glamorization and glory of the male body. Come on. And with such grace. The man's a queen, all right? Let's admit it. If you like Mishima, you will love this one. It's really short, really sweet, packs a punch. Prose is great. It just goes down easy, and I love that for Mishima. Yeah, I always feel like his books tackle the same themes, just in varying stories and forms, and this is no exception. It's wonderfully done. Next up, y'all, top read of 2024, Rejection. Sorry, I practice trying to pronounce this, and I have to look at the name to do it, but it's by homeboy Tony Tulathimutte. Oh my god, incredible, y'all, incredible. Just the way that this gets under your skin and makes you cringe and makes you angry but laugh, but also feel really insecure, because he is really tackling the insecurities of how we go about buzzwords and how we go about being an ally, quote unquote. Makes us question, like, what do we really stand for, and are we actually standing for what we believe in? Surrounding being online, chronically online. I think also jabs satirically at some of our friends maybe. And it's just written with such sharp wit, and it's incredibly funny. There were moments where I was laughing out loud, and it's just so exceptionally crafted. It's a collection of short stories surrounding different things like feminism, identity politics, labels, and the insecurities of our sex lives, what sex means, its importance, just everything. It's just so good. Tony is just an incredible writer, and now I'm just shooting praise out my ass. Like, just do it. Just do Rejection. It's amazing. I don't know what else to tell you. Just do it. Just do it. It's ending up in my top 10 for sure. Probably one of the smartest things I've read. Nothing in the literary fiction realm right now can top this. It's just so well done. Next up, courtesy of Carrie Cakes. Carrie can read. We have The Book Censor's Library by Bothayna Al-Essa. And this was fun. It reads like YA and has the same feeling of If on a Winter's Night, A Traveler, 1984 by George Orwell, and Fahrenheit 451 by Bradbury. All intermixed in this like really cute, fun story about a person who looks over books and censors them. And while doing so, he ends up loving literature and its importance and the importance of stories, and he, in an Alice in Wonderland kind of way, falls into this secret society of literature lovers. And yeah, it's the love for language, the love for books, and goes down easy. I didn't quite get along well with the end. I think it was quite a cop-out ending, but if I had read this before any of, Bradbury, Orwell, or Calvino, if I'd read this when I was a teenager, I would have enjoyed this a lot. But yeah, if you're looking for, a quick read, there's pictures in here, illustrations. It's a cute one. But yeah, hard 3 stars for me, and thank you, Carrie, for sending this over. I've been trying to squeeze in a lot of tinies to up my count, so this helped a lot. My next read I finished in a bookstore, so I don't have a physical copy of it. It's Peeing in Public, an inventory of the wildest urinators. Title says it all. I read this alongside Elio. I'll leave their handle down below. And yeah, we were in my favorite bookstore and I decided to finish this then and there, and it was great. But yeah, it just tracks all the pissy political movements, the matters of private in public spaces, and it's just so interesting that we have to become private in public spaces when it comes to our bowel movements. Did I know that Justin Bieber peed in a mop bucket in 2013? No. And you just get like these really interesting things from artists, politicians, celebrities, musicians, just everything. A slew of many different moments, pee-pee moments in history. It's a quick read. I love this publication a lot. Oops, didn't mention the author. It's Geiger Thomas. And yeah, this is by Black Forest Library. They just do really quick, fun books that have like rereadability. I really enjoy everything that they do from this and another book that I've read. But yeah, they're just great. I feel like if I'm in a slump, I can like easily pick it up and just flip through it, not read it too seriously, and still enjoy it and learn something new again. Next up, courtesy of Kate, I'll leave her handle down below as well. The Earth is Falling by Carmen Pellegrino, translated by Sean Whiteside. This was fine. I didn't quite know what to expect coming into this. The back really sold it to me though. It's a haunting and magical novel based around the existence of an abandoned village outside Naples. What I thought was going to be plotty ends up being a more big mood piece surrounding place, memory, our emotional, nostalgic attachments to place, seeing how things have changed, how you have changed, and it really is about that. Between narrative fiction and the epistolary form, Pellegrino is really looking at how place becomes dead, yet also alive, in the ways we think about it, recall it, and remember and relay it to others. My issue with it was that everything just felt really flat. Really flat, and that was it. And so then it just is a big slow burn mood piece, which I think I would appreciate more if it was a film. But here, in the novel form, I think it's just fine. This was slightly good for spooky season, but yeah, made me miss home a bit, made me think about home, and I'll get to that theme again with my last read here. I reread The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides. It's surrounding the suicides of the Lisbon sisters, told through the perspective of a group of boys. So the whole book is narrated by the collective we, and still hits so good. When I first read this, I only gave it 3 stars, but it's a good, like, solid 4 or 5 stars. Really atmospheric, looks at, like, the death of suburbia, how poisonous it is, how poisonous it becomes to our viewpoints of others. And this is also, though, an America in the 90s that I don't think exists anymore because everything is online. Here, it really crafts that, what is so strange to say, but an old America where you had picket-lined fences and green, lush grass and neighbors. Like, do we have cookouts anymore with our neighbors? Do we do things for our neighbors anymore? Chat, let me know. Let me know if you're good friends with your neighbor and if y'all do anything together, because I feel like that's such an old suburban idea that no longer exists. It's a part of America that, strangely, I have experienced and I kind of miss it. This gathering, this care for each other within a cul-de-sac. But yeah, it's still incredible. I love how Eugenides is able to place us so deeply at the heart of everything suburban. I'm in the midst of rewatching the film. I'm like halfway through it, and beautiful, beautiful. I think Sofia Coppola did such a great adaptation for the book. I feel like it's quite true to the text. Breathes a lot of life to all of the characters. I read this when I was like 16, 17, and reading it now, it really does make me miss home. Because what this book is about is how we remember place, how we misremember it as well, how our viewpoints change, our sentiments around those viewpoints change as time passes, and how we really do come around. And as place changes, we change too. And it is also about that. It's about the fear of change, how we adapt to change, and what happens to us if we don't. Yeah, Eugenides perfectly crafts the great American novel. But yeah, something I think I'll continually revisit as years go by. Y'all, that's it. Excuse the change in lighting. Fall is coming to an end already in Korea. It came in just like that and left just as quickly. So sorry about the light. Can I turn this on real quick? How's that? Ooh. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, y'all, I'm a Black Whales affiliate. If you enjoyed me talking about any of these books, please consider using my affiliate link downstairs to get any of these books or for any of your other bookish needs. Also, let me know if you read any bangers in October. List them in the comments down below. Would love to know. Love adding books to my never-ending TBR. As always, be well, do good work, keep in touch.